What did you think when Bud Crawford came out and said, quote, "I'm going straight to the Spence fight, and then after that, I'm going to fuck up Charlo"?
He's too small. My brother a dangerous fighter. And I told Bud to himself, hey, fall back. They all talk that until they really get in there and do that. Bud got a lot more to worry about than Jermell. I mean, you got to start, you can't just jump up in the tree. You got to start slowly. So if so, let's see what he do. You know, if so, I'm pretty sure my brother entertained the fact Bud Crawford want to fight him, but it is.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So what you just heard was the voice of undefeated, two-division world champion, reigning WBC middleweight world champion, superstar boxer, Jermall Lions Only Charlo. Jermall Charlo is 32 wins, no losses, no draw, 22 big wins by way of knockout. He is 32 years of age, 6 feet tall with a 74-inch arm reach. He was discussing the fact that undefeated, three-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the reigning WBO, World Boxing Organization welterweight world champion, was widely considered by many to be the #1 best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, and Terence Bud Crawford, stating that Terence Crawford is 38 wins, no loss, no draw, 29 big wins by way of knockout. He's 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach at 34 years of age. So with that said, he discussed Terence Crawford, stating that he wants to beat his close friend in undefeated, newly crowned 3-belt unified welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, who's widely considered by many to be top 2 best pound-for-pound fighters in the world, and Errol the True Spence Jr. And after he beat Errol Spence Jr., he's going to go up to junior middleweight 154 and beat Jermell Charlo, who is Errol Spence's cheerleader, is what Jermall Charlo stated. And what Terence Crawford stated, Jermell Charlo is Errol Spence's cheerleader. He's going to go up and beat Jermell Charlo, right? And so Jermall Charlo, he said that he told Terence Crawford to his face, as you can hear, that, you know, he's just too small. Then he goes on to say that Terence Crawford has a lot of respect for both Jermell and Jermall Charlo and Errol Spence. He stated, but Terence Crawford is letting the fans get to him. He said sometimes you let the fans get to you, and sometimes the fans could get you to start feeling and acting a certain kind of way. Listen.
It is what it is.
Yeah, and you said you told him that, so you had him face to face.
Oh yeah, no, we spoke on social media.
Oh, okay.
We spoke in person.
I got you.
Bud respects me a lot.
Yeah.
And Bud got a lot of respect for my brother, but sometimes he let the fans get to his head, and that's because he, you know.
So he said sometimes Terence Crawford let the fans get to his head, right? So he feels like, you know, he said Crawford respects him a lot. Crawford respects Jermell a lot. You know, he's just stated, but he letting the fans get to his head. And he gonna say the reason that he let the fans get to his head is because he didn't have the contract, and he not making the money that they're making with the PBC, Premier Boxing Champions, founder and advisor Al Heyman, Showtime president of sports Steven Espinosa, and Fox Sports, right? So he's going to state that Terence Crawford feels that way because, you know, Terence Crawford is simply not making the money that they making. He getting the short end of the stick with his contract, being with legendary promoter, top-ranked CEO and promoter for so long, Bob Arum, and ESPN. So listen what he says.
He didn't get the best side of the contract when it came to his career.
Yeah, I got it. Maul, look, you've done this a number of times.
So you heard it there. He said because he didn't get the best side of his contract throughout his career is the reason that Terence Crawford allows the fans to, you know, get him to want to, you know, step outside the boundaries, I gather, is what he's getting at, right? And so with that said, you know, Terence Crawford, he stated that it would be historic for him. You know, he's already undisputed at junior middleweight, okay, at 140. If he beats Errol Spence in the most highly anticipated, biggest fight in the sport of boxing currently as it stands between him and Errol Spence, which would be for undisputed, he beats Errol Spence, then he would be undisputed at junior welterweight and at welterweight, okay? And he stated that he wants to go up not just because it's Jermell Charlo, but he does want to go up and he wants to secure his legacy and bolster his legacy even more by beating Jermell Charlo for undisputed at 154. Jermell Charlo is the undisputed junior middleweight world champion. He's a 2-time junior middleweight world champion. So beating Jermell Charlo, who's the first undisputed 4 major sanction belt junior middleweight world champion in the history of the sport of boxing. So him beating Jermell Charlo just speaks volumes. So Terence Crawford, he said, if he does so and accomplish that feat, he stated that it would put his legacy so far out of touch for the guys coming up behind him. He stated it would be some enormous shoes to fill, if he's able to accomplish this feat, right? So it's not just him looking to compete against Jermell Charlo, although it makes it, that much better for Terence Crawford, I believe. That is Jermell Charlo, right? Because Jermell Charlo is connected to Errol Spence, and Errol Spence is his, biggest rival in the sport of boxing. So the fact that he gets an opportunity to fight, Errol Spence and Jermell Charlo, so it's like, being able to clip 2 birds with 1 stone, right? You get to become undisputed in the 3rd weight class, and you get to beat Errol Spence's close friend, and Errol Spence trains with well-renowned two-time trainer of the year, future Hall of Fame trainer, and Derrick James, right? So Errol Spence trains with him, and so does Jermell Charlo. So, and they have a close relationship and friendship. So it just, for Terence Crawford, it's just like, the icing on the cake. But the thing is, like Jermall Charlo said, that he's too small. Terence Crawford started his career at 130, 135. Thus, hence the reason he's a champion at 135, 140, and 47, 3-division champion. But he's 5'8". He'll be 35 in September. Okay. He has extremely long arms, 74-inch arms. But Jermell Charlo is 5'11 and a half, almost 6 feet tall, with the same arm length, 74-inch arms. But he's just a naturally bigger guy, naturally bigger and stronger guy who's very fundamentally sound, who's very skilled, and, has a high ring IQ and has power in both hands. And he's very versatile, Jermell Charlo, right? He has the ability to box. He has the ability to move, utilize the ring laterally. He can counterpunch, and he has great timing. So, 9 times out of 10, great big men beat great little men, okay? And here's a classic case of we having a great big man looking to compete against a great little man. But the problem is that Terence Crawford is going to be 35, and he don't utilize the ring, right? He's not moving around the ring. When you a smaller guy coming up in weight and challenging the bigger guys like this in this type of situation, normally you have to be able to utilize the ring, okay? Be able to use your foot speed and your ring IQ, right? Hence, legendary, iconic, retired Hall of Fame superstar boxer Roy Jones Jr. when he moved up to heavyweight, right? He was able to stay away. He used his legs and his feet to stay away from John Ruiz at heavyweight, and use his his quick reflexes and his hand speed to be able to outpoint John Ruiz, okay? Hence, Floyd Mayweather, he was able to strategically utilize his legs, okay? Stand in the pocket, utilize his shoulder roll defense, and avoid Canelo Alvarez and bigger guys, right? Now, Terence Crawford, that's no longer how he fights. Now, he did have it in his arsenal, which means 9 times out of 10, he still has it, but he hasn't utilized it, okay? Terence Crawford, when he faced off against Victor Postal, when you look at the fight with Terence Crawford and Victor Postal, right? Terence Crawford was able to stay away from Victor Postal, move around and dominate Victor Postal with his ability to box, right? He did so, to a sense when he faced off against, when he also faced off against Jose Benavidez Jr., right? Who was a bigger, more rangy guy. He was able to stay away from him and box him, right? And so he has the ability to do so, but at 35 years of age and, when you look at his fight with Igor Kavalauskas and his fight with Sean Porter and his fights with, you know, guys of that magnitude, well, he stayed in the pocket more so than he did utilizing the ring and moving around the ring, right? And hence he's getting hit a lot more than he did in past, you know, like the Victor Postol fight. He didn't get hit at all in that fight. Jose Benavidez Jr., he didn't get hit at all. But the Kell Brook fight, he was getting caught with the jab. Sean Porter fight, he was getting touched. Igor Kavalauskas, you know, he was getting touched in those fights. And when you fight Jermell Charlo, who's a guy who's much bigger, much stronger, has a high ring IQ, fundamentally sound, you know, you got to stay away from Jermell Charlo because one punch can change everything for Terence Crawford. So I think it would be a great accomplishment for Terence Crawford if he beats Errol Spence and then beats Jermell Charlo at 154. No doubt his legacy is his legacy as a Hall of Famer is set right now, but it gets even bigger because he will have beaten the best welterweight in the world and would have beaten the best junior middleweight in the world. So that would speak volumes. But Jermall Charlo says he told Terence Crawford to his face, "You too small for my brother. Don't do it. Stay away. Focus on other things." So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.